Hey, all right, let's get this set up here. Dim, 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 dim. We'll send out the share message and then we'll start. How is everyone tonight? Hope you're doing well out there in the Facebook sphere. Dun, 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 dun. All right, there we go. We're live and in living color. Shared it to my Facebook. We've shared it to YouTube. And we'll start. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the What Had Happened Was podcast for Monday, June the 4th. Can't believe it's Monday. Can't believe it's June the 4th either. Where the hell did the year go? I think my first ever episode, I was talking about Sloan going to kindergarten and how that was freaking me out. And now I have her graduation today. If you're listening to this on the podcast, if you're joining me on Facebook Live tomorrow, it's really insanity to think that she is now going to be a first grader. She's done with school. She's probably going to be done with that school. Hopefully, a little discouraged with the house sales this weekend. I thought, not the house sales, the I guess you could say the house showings. I thought we would at least have one or two this weekend. We did not, unfortunately, have any, which was a bummer. But in my mind, I kind of had a end of June date set anyway. So it's not as if I was like really, really hell bent or freaking out about, oh, it's gotta be sold soon. It's gotta be sold soon. So again, of course you want your house to sell immediately. I know a lot of our friends have had a lot of luck with that. They've sold in like a week or 2 weeks, 10 days, which is awesome. With ours, it being a townhouse, not having a quote unquote lot that we're on, we kind of have to share. We have shared spaces, those things. I knew it would be a smaller market, much more like, first time home buyers, that kind of thing. So we're still optimistic and I'm not really that worried about it. Let me turn this. This is annoying me. So I would imagine, make sure this doesn't turn off though, because I did that last time. All right, yeah, that's much less annoying to have the blue light in your face. If you're listening on the podcast, the microphone for whatever has like a blue glowing light to let you know that it's on, which is nice, so that you're actually talking and that your voice is being recorded. I try to hide it sometimes, but when I hit it last time, I jostled the microphone and it turned off completely for about 3 minutes. On the podcast, I was able to edit it out. But on the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live, I was obviously not able to do that. So what a great weekend weather-wise. Yesterday was like sticky as hell and it was supposed to rain, but the rain held off for the most part. Today was like a goddamn monsoon. It went from like 80, I think it was like 85 degrees yesterday. It was so sticky though. It felt like it was 150, which all you West Coast fucks. And I guess pretty much just the West Coast. I mean, the South is even worse than us in the East. Like it's nuts down south with the humidity. But it was just, it was like you felt it just smacked you in the face. We needed the rain, but I don't know if we needed the goddamn monsoon that we got. Fucking sucked, basically. We're like, we have the for sale sign up in the house, and it literally the whole the middle of the sign blew out. So it was like flopping in the wind and shit. I had to go take it out completely, but I'll put it back in the morning, I guess, when the wind dies down. It was nice though, because then there was a hole for the wind to pass through and it didn't look like the sign was getting ready to fall over. It looked like a heroin addict or a crackhead, like leaning, like it refused to fall. It was just like, hey guys, I just got my last fix, which I guess isn't funny, especially in this area. There's a little bit of that problem still going on, but here's what it is. If you've seen someone doing that notorious lean, you know what I'm talking about, and that's what my for sale sign was doing. It had a nice little junkie lean going on. I'm not gonna be mad about it. What in the hell? Oh yeah, so this was the week of the outrage. almost regret recording these sometimes so far apart, because I'll record one and then something will happen in the world and I'll have to wait like a whole week. Like the whole Roseanne thing happened. And that feels like it was a week ago now, but it was a week of everyone being outraged. And if you haven't heard about what Roseanne tweeted, basically she said, former Obama admin, Lady Valerie Jarrett, looked like a cross between the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes. And Valerie Jarrett happens to be African American. So anytime you compare a black person to a monkey, probably gonna be a racist look. And I know that Roseanne throughout her time has been, for a lot of, social causes, but in her old age, she has grown to be much more crotchety and much more racist. And then we saw the hypocrisy on both sides. It just came out and there was outrage. Like, everybody has a Twitter handle had to comment on it and feel righteous and feel like they were, in the right. What I think separated Roseanne stuff was it wasn't a joke, or it was. She said it was a bad joke and that she was on Ambien, and then Ambien came out and said, well, Ambien, one of the side effects is not racism. So there's always that. But I don't know. I guess she's a comedian, so anything she technically tweets could be taken as a joke, but she's tweeted stuff like this before, like the conspiracy theories and all that shit. I don't know if it's because she's getting older or if she's just not mentally right, but whatever it was super racist and it didn't seem like a joke. So you saw just the hypocrisy on both sides. So everyone on the right obviously was like, oh my God, what's the big deal? It was just a tweet. Why is everybody so mad? And then everybody on the left was like, oh, she needs to be fired immediately. And of course, ABC came out and canceled the show, which I think was obviously going to happen. ABC, if people don't know, is owned by Disney. Don't think that Disney can quite have someone on their TV lineup that's basically saying, a black person looks like they're from Planet of the Apes. Not exactly a good look when you're trying to sell Frozen Princess, goddamn Frozen 2 next summer, or The Incredibles, or whatever's coming out. Can't quite have that mixed message like, hey, kids, come watch this. But also, there's this lady that thinks black people look like monkeys, and we're going to keep her on TV. So that's no big deal. No difference there. And it was the show was doing well. Especially for this day and age, like not many shows get more than 10 million viewers an episode. And I think every episode they had was over 10 million viewers. And then she, of course, came out and played the victim like, oh, it was the Ambien. And now hundreds of people have lost their jobs. The camera crew, the writers. And, I think the writing was on the wall. Whitney Cummings left before that tweet. Then after that tweet, Wanda Sykes left. So people were jumping ship before ABC even canceled the show. I don't know that they were going to have a writer's room, or who knows if the actors were even going to be willing to do it. Now there's talk that they might try to do it without Roseanne or bring it to another network with Roseanne. There's an Uncle Drew movie coming out? What? So I have ABC on because I'm going to watch the basketball game when it comes on. But if you didn't know, Kyrie Irving, who used to play on the Cavs, he now plays on the Celtics, and he got hurt and he wasn't at the games. Now it's kind of a big deal. Did a little commercial for Nike where he dressed up like an old dude and basically then went to like the playground and looked like some 80-year-old man, and he started schooling these kids and he called it Uncle Drew. And now apparently he has a full-length movie. It looks like Lil Rel was in it, who was the friend in Get Out. If you've seen that, he was like the TSA agent. He's also a comedian. He's a pretty funny guy. He's a pretty funny guy. I tell you what, that Lil Rel, he's a good one. But yeah, I'm just surprised that they took a commercial and turned it into a movie. Like I even get surprised when they take video games and turn them into movies. Like I get Lara Croft Tomb Raider. Like there are a bunch of weird guys that got a little pornographic with that one. But so that one makes sense because you got a bunch of fat, sweaty video gamers that want to see Lara Croft in the flesh, even though I'm sure there's all kinds of fanfic and cam girls and all kinds of weird stuff going on there. But that one I get. I just don't get turning a commercial into a movie. I'll probably see it when it comes out on like DVD or on rental or Netflix or whatever, but don't think that'll be getting my $13. I still need to go see Deadpool 2. I have not gone to see that yet. Ryan Reynolds I think he wants to break up with me. I did start watching it on one of those torrent sites or streaming sites or whatever, Terrarium TV, Justin was telling me about. And it was pretty good quality. It was a cam, obviously, because it's still new and in theaters. But I couldn't bring myself to do it. The man deserves my money. He's too sexy to not give him my hard-earned cash. I just don't know when I'm going to have time to do it. We have Sloan's graduation coming up. I have the end of my school year coming up. I have to get my grades in for the marking period, all that fun stuff. I got to get my kids transitioned to summer school that are eligible for their summer school or their extended school year. And it's just going to be a busy time. So I don't know if I'm going to get to go see it here in the next week or so, but I hope I do. Yeah. Oh, so yeah. Okay. So Jesus Christ, that was a nice long aside from Roseanne. So anyway, so Roseanne did her little thing, and obviously the hypocrisy came out because now all of a sudden it's a First Amendment thing. So when football players kneel to, you know, I don't know, protest police brutality or racial inequality, which they're doing. They weren't doing it to protest the flag, guys. I know that that's what it got turned into, and it got turned into this patriotism thing. That's not what it was about. It was about, from the jump, police brutality and racial inequality, which are two things that they're tough to argue. You can argue them. You're going to look like an asshole, and you're going to look like you basically got fed some propaganda news from Fox if you try to argue them, but you can try to argue them. I wouldn't recommend it. So when they did that, of course it was, oh, well, if your employer wants to fire you, tough shit, your employer can fire you. But when Roseanne did her thing, it was like, oh, she shouldn't be fired over that. It's her First Amendment right. But all of a sudden now ABC doesn't have the right to fire her. And same way, it goes both ways. Like when the quote unquote owners or the bosses came out and said, we don't want our guys kneeling, like everyone on the left, myself included, we're kind of like, that's horseshit. I wasn't quite as mad about it. I thought it was ridiculous that they were telling them not to do it, but I never got real weird about the right to tell the guys not to do it. I just wouldn't play for a coach like that. I'd play for the Jets, whose owner came out and said, I don't know why I did this thing. Like, I'm like, hey, give me all the dicks you got. And that, if you're listening on the podcast, I did tried to do like a double fist pump, but it ended up looking like I was doing shake weights in my face with both hands. And it looked kind of like I was just jacking two guys off in front of me. So I just didn't randomly have a friggin' seizure or an embolism. I promise there was actually some sort of action that warranted that. But no, so there was outrage there. Then Samantha Bee comes out and calls Ivanka Trump a feckless cunt. And apparently the C word is just never, God forbid you call someone the C word. Like, what is this world coming to when you can't say cunt? I get it. We've been taught that it's, the worst word you can call someone, but sometimes you're just being a cunt, and you should be called that or called out on it or told that. Like, I mean, what should she have called her? Like a twat? Like, what would have been acceptable? A bitch? I don't know. I'm curious as to what the acceptable word would have been. I don't know. And then it looked like I was juggling testicles there. I got to stop using my hands so much to talk. Somebody's going to Photoshop two big testicles in my hands. But no, I don't know what the proper word would have been. Like, she called her a cunt on a TV show. It was a joke. It was a written joke. I don't get it. I don't get that the right's supposed to be like all for free speech and they're not snowflakes. But then you drop one C word and all of a sudden Samantha Bee should be fired now, which I get it. She issued an apology. I don't even think she should have issued an apology. She was doing a bit on her show, a written joke. Obviously it was personal. Obviously she felt some sort of way about it, but to compare the two, the Roseanne thing and the Samantha Bee thing, it's a little bit disingenuous. Like, yeah, I get it that both caused a little bit of outrage or both used quote unquote inappropriate words, but one was literally just using any old adjective that I mean, I guess it is a rough word, but it's just a word like cunt. Who cares? But you're not comparing an African-American person to monkeys. Such a different story. And then, because the outrage there wasn't enough, we had to have more outrage. You guys know I watched The Bachelorette. I guess the guy who got the first impression rose, people had gone through his old Instagram tweets or Instagram tweets. How fucking old am I? Am I 800?
Oh, there's that face space you guys are on these days. That there Insta Twitter. I mean, that's Snapgram.
How old am I? Instagram tweets. What am I? Oh, Jesus. Let me, guys, I got to go get my Ovaltine. Hold on. I got to stop. I got to pause real quick to go get my Oval. What? Who am I? Instagram tweets. His Instagram likes. He had liked apparently some racist memes, some I guess you could say ethnocentric memes. If you don't know what the word ethnocentric means, you've probably liked the same memes this guy has. Just memes talking badly about immigrants, badly about liberal women. That was the one I think that stuck in my wife's craw the most. It was like a picture. It was like of Tommy Lahren, who don't get me started on that bitch, because you want to talk about a cunt. That's one right there. Nice little bleach blonde, selling to the demo like,
oh, I'm pretty, but I have brains too, and I'm a conservative. Yeah, listen to me.
So that one, I guess I said don't get me started, and I got started. So that was rude, but she's a cunt. So that's going to be the word of the day. Well, I don't know why that makes me laugh so much. I'm just watching J.R. Smith run backwards toward the bench, and LeBron putting his hands on his head like he's incredulous. So the one that really pissed my wife off, let me get back to that before I completely lose my train of thought, was that it said like conservative women, and it had Tommy Lahren or whatever, and she's pretty, whatever, and then it had liberal women, and it was this huge fat chick that like had her hair dyed purple, and my wife was pretty pissed about that, because I think my wife, not that she's a liberal, she's an independent, she's a registered independent, so she doesn't even get to vote in primaries. That's no fun for her. But she obviously leans more liberal because we're still married. If she didn't, I think she would have kicked me out of the house by now. But I think that one stuck in her craw the most. It was just a bad look. The guy might be a good guy. And if you're still following along after what my brain just did and what came out of my mouth, more power to you. But basically, one of the contestants on The Bachelorette, the guy who got the first impression rose, had liked some shitty things on Instagram. And does that make him a terrible guy? No. Have I said some shitty things on Facebook? Yes. But is it should, I guess, people be more cognizant of what they're doing on social media now than they were even 2-3 years ago? Yes. Like, you have to know that the stuff you're saying will be found, and it's going to come out. Like, I've made comments that were complete and utter jokes. But in hindsight, like, if I ever were to run for office or anything like that, and someone dug that shit up, my campaign would be over before it even started. Because, like, it's different when you know someone. Like, I've even gotten shit like for commenting on people's posts that I like or know, that I know personally, and they know I'm joking, but their friends don't. So they'll be like, what the fuck is this guy, a Nazi, or he's some kind of racist? Like, oh, surprise, a white guy said that. Like, so I get it too, because I try my best to troll both sides. I obviously am much more liberal, but I try my best to just troll everyone. And sometimes when I do that, some jokes I say, they land flat, or they're just bad. They're terrible jokes. I mean, I've said stuff to my friends that I wouldn't want to repeat in public at this point, but that's just, I don't know. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. So I don't think this guy's a shitty human, or he should be like drug on Twitter. Like, I know that's everyone's favorite thing to do. Like, you drag someone on Twitter and all of a sudden you pretend like you haven't said or liked some fucked up shit in your life. Like, all of a sudden, if I were like, oh, Roseanne should be fired, or, oh, I can't believe this guy on The Bachelorette said these things, like, it exonerates me from some of the shit I've said in my car when I get cut off at a stoplight, or I get cut off at a stop sign. Like, I mean, we've all said it. And if you haven't, then more power to you. You're a better person than me. But most of us have said some fucked up shit about people, about places, about things. We just haven't been caught in the public eye. I mean, and that's my personal feeling on it. I don't think that you go consequence free. Like, I think Roseanne should have been fired. I think her show should have been canceled. You can't go comparing people to monkeys and think you're still going to be on the goddamn Mickey Mouse network. It's just not going to happen. Those two things don't go together. Now, they're already talking like InfoWars or Fox News or one of those goddamn shows, one of those goddamn channels will put her on. And that's fine. If they want to do that, that's fine. That's their business decision. I'm sure people will still watch the show. but it's just a bad look. Her mental health is, I don't know where it is, but it's just like, it's so sad. Like these 80s, 90s stars, like we had Bill Cosby and Roseanne. They were like, you know, the black successful doctor, and then we had like the middle class white trash lady. They were like, I mean, Married with Children was even another one that was similar to Roseanne, but it was even more over the top. I think Roseanne was much more your blue collar, kind of your everyday middle American, whereas Married with Children was like that hyperbole white trash kind of family. But anyway, between Roseanne and Bill Cosby, those were people who were not revered, but they were kind of respected, at least. Bill Cosby definitely revered. And if you look back now, yeah, exactly. She was on that Ambien, Brian. It turns you racist. That was one of the side effects. If you look now, like it's some stuff like there's been some TV guide covers or whatever that have surfaced on Reddit, like of Bill Cosby and Roseanne, and it doesn't age well. Like it's sad because those were two, like you had the TV mom and the TV dad, and they haven't aged well at all. But unfortunately, that's what happens when people get old. They become racist. They start slipping Quaaludes in ladies' drinks. It just kind of, it's, you know, goes on with this. I mean, Morgan friggin' Freeman got accused of it's like sexual harassment or sexual assault or sexual misconduct or whatever the hell term we're using now. And one of the clips they showed was Michael Caine, the British guy from The Dark Knight. He played the butler. Why am I blanking on the butler's name in Batman? Fuck. So Bruce Wayne is Batman, obviously. Alfred. He played Alfred. Michael Caine played Alfred. And apparently he had put his foot in his mouth and asked the woman how long she had been pregnant, and the woman was not pregnant. And Morgan Freeman said, I would have liked to have been there. And I guess the woman thought he meant that he would have liked to seen her getting fucked or getting pregnant. And it's like, no, idiot. He was saying, I would have liked to have been there to see Michael Caine put his foot in his mouth, not to see you get impregnated, you psycho. Not everything's about you, you crazy person. And I'm sure Morgan Freeman has said some nasty things or some off-color jokes to some of the makeup artists or whatever. He's 80 years old. That's what they did in the 50s and 60s. They slapped asses and said, good job, toots. I wasn't there. I wasn't alive, but I think that's what they did. I mean, we all saw Mad Men. Everyone loved the goddamn show Mad Men. And when Don Draper was doing all his shit, it was funny. It was great. Good times. You know, oh, such a great representation of the 50s man. And all of a sudden, when these guys turn 80, they're supposed to just all of a sudden learn how to keep their mouth shut and keep their hands to themselves. No, if that's what you did your whole life, you're still going to be grabbing asses and saying, good job, toots, or whatever, sweetheart, or whatever other term you're not supposed to use. Like, it's, I don't know. It's frustrating to me when these old ass dudes get caught up in it. Like, I'm not excusing what people like Harvey Weinstein did, or even like Louis C.K., where he would trap girls in a hotel, not trap them, but he would like kind of be like, hey, can I beat off in front of you in a hotel room? And the girls were like, I guess that's okay. Like, they're not going to say no. You already got them sitting down in your hotel room, you weirdo. Like, I'm not excusing that behavior. I don't think it's okay, but you can explain it. Like, Morgan Freeman's 80. He's objectified women probably most of his life. Like, it's just his generation. That's what they do. They're gross and disgusting. Like, I'm sure your uncle or grandpa has said some nasty shit at Thanksgiving about somebody's girlfriend or somebody's daughter where you were like, oy, probably not a good one there, Unc. I mean, did you have to whistle at her? Like, come on. Like, can we pump the brakes there, Uncle? I don't. But you know, women too, because it's like, I get it. You want to be, I guess, I don't even, what's the term? I was thinking about this the other day because I'm in the Madden League. I know I talk about it every goddamn episode. I try not to talk about it. In every episode, I talk about the Madden League. Here goes the Madden League. Anyway, so we have a group chat for the Madden League, and these guys were talking about the three best swordsmen in Star Wars, and somebody was bringing up Mace Windu was like a top 3, and I was like, what the fuck am I like? I know that a lot of nerds play video games, but I did not know it was like this bad. Like, these guys are debating who the best swordsmen in Star Wars are. So anyway, the conversation ended up coming to school shootings, because of course that's a natural progression of conversations to go from Star Wars lightsaber fighting to school shootings. But it went there. And I had my little rant about the school shooter and how I felt like him being bullied was being played up in the media a little too much and being used as a huge excuse. And I came up with a solution. So here's my solution. So I guess we can't call her the school slut anymore because it's 2018 and you can't slut shame. That's a term now. You can't slut shame somebody. So I'm thinking like the most sexually liberated, the most sexually free. What can we use here for the girl who is not afraid to sleep with people, so to speak? Let's just call her. She's not loose, but she's woke. She's woke to her sexuality. That's what we'll call it. She's sexually woke. We get her, the school hooker, to sleep with you got to pick, if you have 10 kids in trench coats, and you got to find 10 girls that are willing to do it. However many kids you have that stink and wear trench coats and get picked on, however many kids you have like that in your school, you have to get that many school hookers or school sluts or sexually liberated or sexually woke, whatever we're calling them. You got to get that many girls, right? And they have to sleep with these guys so that these guys feel like they fit in and everything else. But I don't know, because now I don't want the guys to get attached and then they're like stalking these girls. All right, I haven't thought this through. I got to flesh this out a little more. Okay, so anyway, so they sleep with these guys, right? And they tell them that they're just the best ever. And maybe if they're Spanish, we can get racist and they can throw an "ay papi" or whatever they do, whatever they want to do. Man, I'm going to end up like Roseanne, but luckily nobody employs me. Well, I guess the state of Delaware employs me. I better watch my damn mouth. But nobody employs this podcast. All thoughts and voiced on this podcast are mine and mine alone. They do not represent my employer. I should say that. I don't think that matters at this point. Oh Jesus. Anyway, so we get the school sluts to sleep with these kids in trench coats that stink. Maybe even give them like an A in science or something that they're not good at, some subject they're not good at. Because typically you have one subject that you struggle with, whether it's gym. Maybe the girl doesn't like changing for gym. She doesn't want to mess up her makeup and sweat. I don't know what it is. We'll give her an A in gym. Whatever the class is, she gets an A in that class, but she has to sleep with the kid, the stinky kid in the trench coat, at least once a year, and tell him that his penis is so big that he's just a man. And I think that would stop pretty much all school shootings, because then these kids they'd feel like, included. They'd be having sex. They'd be getting out their attention. So I think that it's a pretty foolproof plan for stopping school shootings. We don't need less doors like that dumb shit in Texas said. We don't need less guns even. Hell, you can keep your guns, Republicans. This is a foolproof plan. Everybody's happy. We can have kids being, sexually liberated, learning their sexual anatomy, because we don't want to teach abstinence, which as much as I joke, I would be mortified if my kids were taught abstinence in school. Again, I've said this multiple times. It's weird to say, but I don't care. I'd rather my kids slept with over the average than slept with zero and were virgins until they were like married. If you saved yourself for marriage, more power to you. I think you're a little weird. I think you're really weird, but it's just, I'd rather my kids experience life, learn things, experience them. I don't want them to get AIDS or like syphilis or anything, but I do want them to at least have some experiences, before they go off and become adults. And then their first time's their wedding night and it's god awful. And they're like crying in the corner because they came in 12 seconds. And I don't want my kids to have to deal with that. I want them to kind of know what's going on. So I think it's just a win-win for everybody. The liberals will be happy because we're talking about sex. The Republicans will be happy because we won't be taking away guns. We'll just be providing sexual favors, and the feminists will be happy because we won't be slut shaming these girls anymore. It'll be like an honorable thing that they are sexually woke, and everybody can contribute. I think that's a win-win-win. I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm onto something here. Definitely onto something. So I can't wait to go to Sloan's kindergarten graduation and, maybe I'll talk to another parent about my views on this, pull them aside, maybe bring it up at the next PTO meeting. I don't know. I got all kinds of options I'm willing to try out here. I don't know how good that's going to be, but it's a good idea in my opinion. All right, how much time we got until the game starts? All right, I got about 15 minutes until the game starts. I can wrap this up in 15 minutes. Speaking of which, my prediction is Warriors in a blowout tonight. I think the line's like 12 or 13, 12 and a half, maybe. Look at that, right between 12 and 13 is 12 and a half. Didn't you guys know that? I think the line is 12 and a half. I would take Golden State if it got up like probably 18 to 20. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to blow them out tonight. I don't see the Cavs winning more than one game this series. I'd go Golden State in 5, and tonight I'll take Golden State minus 12 and a half. So there's my prediction there on that. The Caps have taken control in the NHL playoffs, the Stanley Cup Finals. They beat Vegas the other night 3-1. So they're now up 2-1 in that series. I think game 4 is tomorrow. Well, tonight, Monday night. Let me confirm that. Oh, and you might be able to bet on game 4 of the NBA Finals in Delaware. So June 5th, Delaware, woot woot, big shout out to Delaware. You will be able to do single game sports betting. New Jersey went after the Supreme Court a long time ago, and it finally came down that the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the states, that states can now run their own sports lotteries and you can do single game betting. So this football season, you won't have to do those stupid cards that everybody wasted money on because you had to bet 5 games right and get all 5 of them right, or 3 games right and get all 3 of them right. You can now do single game betting. I don't know if there's going to be over-unders or prop bets or how that's going to look, but right now, game 4 of the NHL Finals is, if you'll be able to bet that. Pull that up. But no, I'm pretty excited for that because it was pretty much like clockwork. I would win. If I did 6 games, I would win 5. If I did 3 games, I would win 2. However many it was, I would win 1 less. So I think I'm going to spend more money because I'll probably bet $20 per game, but I'm also going to come out more in the end. So let's say I go 4-2. I'll have the 2 losers, so I'll be out my $40. But if I win the 4 games, I should be up for the weekend, maybe $30-40. So I can justify it with the wife. I'm really excited for that single game sports betting. I am anxious to see how it plays out. So yeah, they are. It's tonight, Monday, June 4th. Golden Knights Capitals. That's in Vegas. So you won't be able to bet on that until game 5, which is Thursday. So NHL playoffs, you'll be able to bet game 5, Thursday, June 7th. NBA playoffs, you'll be able to bet game 4, which is Wednesday, June the 6th, I do believe. Let me confirm that. It is, Sunday, and then all the way to Wednesday. Yep, Wednesday, June 6th. So single game betting goes live. Tuesday, June the 5th. I'm assuming you'll be able to bet baseball games and MLB. So if you guys are like big Braves fans, or, this will make me way more interested in sports. I'm not going to lie. Like, since I've had the kids, I've not really had an interest in a lot of sports, but shit, I put $50 on a baseball game, I'm going to be pretty fucking into it. We're going to a Phillies game this Saturday. Justin had a really good idea. He set it up. Actually, I don't know if he set it up or if he just included us. Someone else set it up and he kind of added on, but Joey Neely's getting married June the 16th. Shout out to Joey and Amy. Congratulations, guys. Yay. And Justin set up for June the 9th. Some of the groomsmen and the wives are going to go to a Phillies game in Philly. I think they play the Brewers, but I think there's also a Kenny Chesney concert. So it's going to be fucking shit show in Philly in the parking lots that day. Well, usually it's a shit show in the parking lots in Philly during sporting events, but even pump it up a notch, because Kenny Chesney party goers, my understanding is that they get it in. They no shoes, no shirts, no problems, and those fuckers come to party. My kind of people. Don't like country music, but I do like people who like to party. So maybe I'll put some money down on that game on Saturday. So I'm the raving lunatic at Citizens Bank Park, like throwing shit on the field when the Phillies are getting crushed because I just lost $50 that I should be putting towards a down payment on our new house. But it's just going down the tubes with my gambling addiction. That seems fair, right? Why not? Daddy should be able to lose money. I make some of it. I can lose some of it, lose it back. Oh man, I'm not ready for this graduation tomorrow. How about that? Like nice little segue there. All right, so I'm going to hold off on the Trump shitting, but just know that it's coming. We're feeling like some frogs in boiling water. They're turning up the heat slowly, more slowly. Soon, I'm going to have to jump out and go crazy. He's already talked about that Robert Mueller's like going to meddle in the midterms. Bullshit. And now they're trying to give out subsidies for coal. Like, what? What year is it? Like, you do realize that guys can't grab asses anymore and say, good job, toots. If you think it's that year still, then fine, we can do subsidies for coal. Unfortunately, it's 2018, and it's much cheaper to use the sun and the wind. They're also going to give subsidies for nuclear, which is fine. I kind of like nuclear. I think it's one of the more underrated, I guess you could say, electrical powerers. That sounded real smart. How, as I tell you why I think nuclear is better, because it's a good powerer. It powers up everything well. But no, I do think we should be going for clean nuclear or safe nuclear, or whatever you want to refer to as. I get that it's expensive, but it can power whole cities. Nuclear can. Wind is getting there. Solar's getting there. They're still not there yet. Coal is just shit. It's not clean. It's not efficient. It's terrible for the environment. It doesn't yield good prices. And everyone, like all the Republicans, are supposedly free market, free market, free market, free market. But now something that they kind of like, they just to kind of shove it in Democrats' faces, they want to give a subsidy to the coal because this whole global warming or climate change bullshit, like they want to say, oh, see how fake it is? Oh, fuck you. Everyone's going to have to pay more taxes for coal. And it's just a kick right in the dick. Like what's next? Is he going to subsidize blockbusters? Like, I think that's what Arnold Schwarzenegger said. Is he going to subsidize blockbusters? And how about some pagers or maybe, desktop computers? I hear there's a great future in desktop computers. Maybe we should subsidize those because everybody uses those when they're outside of the classroom. All right. I didn't want to go off on that, but I will soon enough. I will. Oh, so Free Donut Day was last, was it Monday? I forget what day it was, but anyway, maybe it was Tuesday, whatever day it was. I didn't know it was Free Donut Day. I go to Dunkin' Donuts. I've been cutting back. So maybe it was Friday because I've only been going on Fridays. Yeah, it had to have been Friday because I've only been going one day a week now. I've been cutting back on my Dunkin' because I was spending too much. And it's Free Donut Day. So I order a drink and a sandwich. And the lady's like, it's Free Donut Day. Which donut would you like? And I was kind of like, none. Like, I've got enough calories here in front of me. But when someone offers you a free donut, you don't turn that shit down. So I got a sour cream, best donut, most underrated donut there is, in my opinion, the sour cream. Clay Sermon turned me on to sour cream donuts about probably 5-6 years ago, and I've not looked back since. I still like a double chocolate. I still like a Boston cream, but the sour cream donut is the most underrated donut. It's the Nutter Butter for me. Nutter Butter is the most underrated sandwich cookie. It's the best sandwich cookie. Go fuck yourself, Oreos. You're not gonna tell me any different. Nutter Butters and sour cream donuts, I don't know that I would live long or healthily off of them, but I could definitely live off of them. All right, let's try to wrap this up. Oh, so that I don't know if you guys saw, it went viral. The Gloucester cheese rolling thing. They send this little fucking wheel of cheese down a hill. Apparently it reaches speeds of like 70 kilometers an hour, and people just fucking chase it. They chase it down the hill. And like if you saw this video, people were like literally head over heels, like full scorpioning themselves multiple times to chase this cheese wheel. And then I watched the video again and I noticed there's some people in the background fucking boot scooting down a thing, just sliding down their butt. Why are you even there? Why are you even there at this cheese rolling festival? To say you were there? Because if you're going to do something, do it. Don't just go there to say, oh, I was there, I was part of it. And then your friends see and you're scooting down the hill like a dog who still has shit on his butt and you're dragging it across the carpet. No, if you're going to do something, do it. Go run your ass down the hill, take a tumble, go head over feet, feet over head, however you want to refer to it, because you're going to do it multiple times. One guy looked like he broke his damn hip. He hit the ground so hard. But it's just like these people polar bear plunge. Like if you're going to do the polar bear plunge, run in, jump your ass in, get your hair wet. If you come out and your hair's not wet, you didn't do the polar bear plunge. You don't get my money. I'm taking my pledge back. I don't care how good of a cause it's for. If I pledged $5 and your hair's not wet, give me that shit back. I need my money back. It's like you can't go to the cheese rolling thing and then just like slide down like you're, I don't know, like you're a little kid who hasn't learned to walk yet, but you're above crawling. So you're just like scooting around, or like you're in gym class on one of those scooters where you're playing scooter soccer. It's just no. If you're going to do something, do it. That's all I'm saying. And we'll wrap it up there because I think we got 5 minutes until the game. Guys, it's fucking June already. We're about what, 5/12 through the year? Can't say halfway because everyone says it's June 1st. Oh, we're halfway through the year. No, we're not. We got to go 6 full months before we're halfway through the year. We're halfway through the year on July 1st. Jackasses, learn math and go titty fuck yourselves. See you next week. Bye, YouTube.